Okay, so we're recording, and can you guys see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through kind of like all the basics of kind of everything that you've been added to, everything that you should know, kind of things that I wish that I would have known as a new coach. And then if you guys have any questions, just let me know.
Okay. Sounds
Okay,
good.
so first and foremost, and I'm going to just unmute you guys if you guys need to jump in and say anything, but I'm going to talk a lot. So first and foremost, and you hear this like on almost any of our team calls that we have, is to focus on you first and get comfortable sharing that process like wildfire. So when I say focus on you, you need to focus on your workout program. So commit to a workout program that you love, stick to it and share it. Stick to that nutrition guide, share what you're doing for nutrition. Stick to your products, stick to your Shakeology, your Energize, whatever products you're loving, share that without showing the label. You want to create that curiosity marketing. Share your personal development. I'm going to get into personal development a little bit later in here. Share the ins and outs of our boot camp, so our March Wellness group. Share the ins and outs of our team. And so sharing that doesn't need to be like spam, 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 Beachbody stuff everywhere, but you kind of see like how our team like trickles it in. Like they'll share a screenshot here and there. They'll white out somebody's name. They share clips of their workout. They share clips, of their shake, like a boomerang of them, like, pouring their shake, and they'll call it stuff. So like when the Energize was only the lemon flavor, I would always just call it my liquid gold. I would never call it Energize. For our shakes, we call them our superfoods. Just like putting, again, that curiosity marketing. The more that you can share that, the more that when you actually go do the invite process, it's going to make it so easy to actually invite women to join you on this. Because if you're not showing up and you're not sharing, if you were to go and ask somebody, the first thing that they're going to do is look at your profile, see if you're sharing, any kind of post about it. They're going to watch your story. And then if you are, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, this is what she's doing. If you're not, they're going to be like, oh, like this is kind of weird. And then that's like when you start to feel a little salesy. So sharing it like wildfire, and I'm going to talk about Instagram in this call as well. So focus on you. You want to be obsessed like with your journey. You want to be obsessed with your workout program. You want to love it. Like I know that Bonnie's, you're sharing yours like absolute wildfire. You love what you're doing. And if you don't love what you're doing, like switch it up. Like that's why we have so many programs. You don't have to like follow the trend, what everybody else is doing. So pick a program that you're going to love, stick with it and share it like crazy. I put on here a little note about your coach office because I didn't put anything in here and I just wanted to make sure that I touched on it. I know that I sent in your welcome email like a little video like getting around your coach office. What I would do is I would just start clicking through your coach office, just kind of learning the ins and outs of it. There's a lot of good stuff on there. There's challenge group guides. There's some videos to share, like the video that I posted in our March group today for the Ultimate Portion Fix that came directly from our coach office. So I pull a lot of resources from there, but your coach office is going to be your spot where you'll see your customers, you will see your coaches, you'll see your income on there. So your coach office is something that you slowly want to become familiar with. When you actually check women out, you use what's called share a cart. And as you get your first clients, I will walk you through that process. So as soon as that happens, like let me know and I will, walk you through exactly what you need to do for that. But it's not in your coach office. Okay, so you've probably heard a lot of us talking about this business activity tracker. And right now our team is doing kind of like an accountability push with this business activity tracker. And what this is corporate got together with some of the best coaches and said, okay, what are you doing? How are you showing up every day that's successful? They've constantly revamped this, and this is the latest, and it is by far the greatest one that I've seen since being a coach. If you don't know where to start with your business, this is where you start. This is in the file section of our team page. It's in the file section of the Run Wild page. It's in your coach office. It's a lot of places. So if you don't have it, I can also send it to you too. So I just kind of want to touch on what this tracker has. So again, the first part is being proof that the product works. So that again is sharing your journey like wildfire. So work out and drink your shake, like very simple. You can check those boxes every single day. And then step number 2 has a lot of different components to it. So initiate connections and add followers. If you were on our live hustle hour, we kind of were going through this a little bit, but initiating connections and adding followers. So when you add followers, that's where you want more eyes on your page. Like the more eyes on your page, the better. So what I like to do is I'll go to maybe one of John's friends' girlfriends. Let's say her name is Katie. So I go to Katie's page and I look at her most recent picture. I look at anybody who's commented on it, anybody who's liked it. And I'll go through and I will follow 10 to 15 of those people who's ever liking Katie's post. And if they're private, I will just request it. And you guys, I don't spend any time clicking on their profile, checking to make sure that they're not a coach, checking to see if they do Arbonne, checking to see if they, do It Works, checking to see if they're a blogger. I don't do any of that. You're going to get some of that and that's okay. But it's basically just like judging a book by its cover. Like, do I think that I could vibe with this girl just based on her profile picture? You go through and you follow 10 to 15 of them. If they're public, click on them. Again, go to their most recent picture and do the same thing. And you're kind of going down this rabbit hole of finding pictures, following a bunch of people. And the idea is that, out of these 50 people that you're going to follow within an hour, because you don't want to do more than 50 because Instagram will flag you, you will hopefully get, 5 to 10 people to follow you back. The more new eyes on your page, the better. The initiating connections is going through and maybe commenting on a couple people's pictures. It's liking a couple people's pictures, again, if they're public. Doing a social media post that showcases your healthy lifestyle, has a call to action. That could be on your story or the physical post, because I want you to think of like your physical post on your Instagram to be like your magazine of your life. You should see like some healthy Beachbody, fitnessy, nutrition type pictures woven in there naturally, but like, Bonnie, I should see you being a teacher. Taylor, I should see you being a mom. I should see your life in there, because that's how people are going to relate to you. That's what's going to attract people to you, is not the brand. It's not Beachbody. It's not, I have to offer X, Y, and Z. It's like, okay, this girl is just like me, and if she can do it, I can do it. So that's why you want to show so much of you as much as you're comfortable with. So you see me sharing quite a bit of my life on here. Updating your Instagram stories throughout the day. That one's pretty self-explanatory. The recognition and a shout out, that can be somebody on our team, or it could be somebody within our boot camp. And here's one thing that I want to say. Anybody in our boot camp is fair game to screenshot. It doesn't have to be your client that you're shouting out. Anybody who joins our team, you can shout them out as joining our team. Nobody needs to know that they're not necessarily your coach or not necessarily your client. It's all building you up to make you look, like you have this established coaching business, where we want to act as if. We don't want to fake it per se, but you want to act as if you're the coach that you want to be, if that makes sense. So if you're unsure, like if this person's a coach, or if they're okay with their name being shown on, social media, just blur out their name, like before you post a screenshot, or blur out like their picture before you post a screenshot of them. It's not a big deal, but that's where that recognition shout out, like, oh, look at this girl, she's slaying her nutrition in our boot camp today. Like I know somebody really posted an awesome meal prep picture. So I definitely, want to screenshot that and post that on my story today. She's not even my boot camper. I know exactly who it is, and she's not even mine, but I can still showcase that. Responding to all new likes, comments, or views. So that is a really good spot, like for who's watching your story, who's liking your post, anybody who's commenting on your stuff. Go through, you can either thank them very genuinely and saying like, I'm new on my journey. Thank you so much for your love. Your support means the world to me, and kind of just leaving it at that. Or that can be turning into an invite, which leads me into the next part. So inviting at least 5 people to join your challenge group every single day, or coaching every single day. I would shoot for more than 5. 5 is the bare minimums. But once you kind of get into the groove of it, and once you grow your following, it becomes a lot easier to invite more than 5 people. My typical goal, but for me, and again, I've been doing this business for a long time, is I try to do 30 to 40 people every day. So I always try to, tell my coaches, when you're just starting out, make it 5 to 10. When you feel comfortable with that, add another 5. and then following up with the people who you've invited. So that will come from as you start inviting and you're tracking who you're inviting. And there's a ton of different ways to track. I personally use Google Streak, and you can definitely look into Google Streak. Some people just love pen and paper. But then like at the end of every single month, so like now that I'm opening up my spots for April, I'm going to go to my follow-up list of all my previous months, and I'm going to invite all of those people again, even if they've already told me, no, it's not a good time. You follow up. And then contributing to your challenge group. So that's just showing up in our March group. Until you're running your own, you should be showing up in mine like you are your own leader, and you will be running your own, once you get a handful of clients and then you buddy up with another coach who has a handful of clients, and then you're off and you're running your own. Recognizing achievement either in our challenge groups or in our coaching. You'll see me, I like to shout out like coaches in our team page, or shouting out, any clients in our boot camp, responding to any questions from your customers or coaches. That will take time until you have some. And then your personal development. And again, I have a slide on that, but personal development is crucial for this business. So this is that kind of walking you through this business activity tracker. Again, we are all as a team trying to be super consistent and show up and complete this for a month straight. And so every Wednesday, I'm going to post like a show me your tracker because our coaching week goes from Thursday to Thursday. Like we get paid on Thursdays, we get Reiki advancements on Thursdays. Everything happens in the coaching world on Thursdays. So a couple Instagram tips that I put together to you guys. Make sure that you talk in your story. People, again, relate to your face, they relate to your voice, they relate to everything like that. But try not to talk for more than 5 frames in a row. It can be really hard. John will get on me on this like all the time when I'm talking too long. Unless you are like promoting something. So like today I was talking about the Ultimate Portion Fix. I was on there for a little bit longer, and you'll see I like to either add like GIFs, or I'll like to like type out a little bit of like what I'm talking about, so that if people are clicking, they're still kind of getting like the gist of it. Always add in poll options. It's really good to do it on like your workout clips. Like say like, are you ready to join me yet? Like on one of your workout clips, and then always do like a heck yes, or the other one, maybe, thinking about it. Never do like a yes and a no, like a hard no. You always want them to be like more positive. Again, sharing more than just Beachbody, and I've kind of already talked about that. You want to aim to have at least 10 frames per day. Like you never know who is showing up to watch you. So you really want to like trickle in like throughout your entire day of what you're doing. So try to aim for 10 frames a day, and then you'll always go up for more. The apps that I'm loving that can help you guys a lot. So I purchased Lightroom presets off of Etsy. I purchased like a pack that had at least 10 of them. I actually think it had like 15 of them because I wasn't sure which one I was going to like. And then I learned how to upload them into Lightroom, and I use the same filter on all my pictures to give it a very cohesive look. I also use Facetune for my actual physical posts that I post on my Instagram. I will touch up, like you guys can see right now, like I have this vein that's blaring in my forehead. I'll smooth that out. I'll smooth out my under eyes. I'll make my eyes pop, and I'll whiten my teeth. That's really it. I don't do anything like really, really crazy because I don't want it to look like too much, and you can always tell when it looks too much. And then the app that I really like for like putting cool like video collages together is called Unfold. And that's a really good one as well. As far as personal development goes, I was never like a big fan of personal development. And for a lot of the beginning of my business, I did not read or listen to personal development. Personal development really comes in handy in this business because think of yourself as like you're opening up a brand new business. Like you are a business owner right now. And if you were to open up like, a brick and mortar business, you like would have to build trust. You would have to, keep getting customers in, and you would really have to push yourself. That's exactly what you're doing here. And it's hard. Like there's gonna be months that are great, and there's going to be months that suck. Like March is a really sucky month for me right now. But if I'm not strengthening my mindset and to know like that it's okay and to not quit, I probably would have quit a long time ago, but personal development has really, really helped me. So how I get in personal development is I will listen to it while I'm meal prepping. I'll listen to it while I'm getting ready in the morning. I will listen to it on my drives to and from work. So usually I pick a personal development, like a book or a podcast to listen to, or I pick a professional development, which would be a Beachbody type training. So the books that I love, and I just kind of listed out a couple here. You Are a Badass, that's by Jen Sincero. The 2 Rachel Hollis books, Girl Wash Your Face, Girl Stop Apologizing, The Compound Effect. And then right now I'm actually listening to Build to Last, and Build to Last was actually written by a Beachbody coach. So really, really good, like tangible takeaways for me for that one. These are the top ones that I would recommend being a new coach. For podcasts, I love the Angie Lee Show, Goal Digger, Empower Her, and Women Inspiring Women. Those 2 are both by Beachbody coaches. The Women Inspiring Women is by the, she's been the top coach. She was the top coach for like 4 years in a row. So she's got really good business tips as well. And then Rise, that's Rachel Hollis's podcast as well. And then for YouTube channels that I put down, these are Beachbody coaches that I personally love to learn from. It's very easy to start following all these Beachbody coaches and putting them up on a pedestal and getting in that mindset of, I can never do what they do. Oh my gosh, they're so good at this. I'm never going to get to that point in my business. And that's, again, where personal development comes in. And instead of saying, you know, I'm never going to be like them, you're saying, I can't wait to do what they're doing. I can't wait to turn my business into what they've turned their business into. So I put down my top 4 coaches that really inspire me, that I always look on YouTube for their team calls. So a lot of the times I will listen to other teams' calls if they're free on YouTube. And there are a ton of them out there. These coaches might not jive with you. 3 out of these 4 are former teachers. So I really, really connect with them. And if you're not a teacher, you might not connect with them as much. And so you might find other coaches that really inspire you, and that's okay. But these are just kind of like mine, who I really thrive off of. So I wanted to kind of walk you through the groups that you're in, because I know that like when you become a coach, you're like added to all these groups. So Inspire Beautiful, that's my team page. Run Wild, Hustle and Shine, that is my coach's team page. So my coach is Mackenzie. Mackenzie and Danielle met via Instagram. Their businesses do not affect one another, but they joined together to make a joint team page. So that's why that is just so massive, because it's all of their teams all combined. So they do their team calls on Tuesdays. That's just like a bonus team call to be a part of. And then I do my team calls on Wednesdays. I like adding you guys to both of them because I want you to have the resources if you need them. If it's overwhelming to you, just, look at my team page. I post there, what I think is most valuable. In your welcome email, I also did 2 Beachbody pages. So Team Beachbody 411, that is where like breaking news is. That's where the national wake up call is every single Monday. And then the Beachbody Champions page is great because they do endless trainings on there as well. So that would be another great resource for like professional development. And like if you're stumped on inviting, or you're stumped on how to run a challenge group, you can type in that search bar and a ton of calls will come up for that. And it's really good to just find like whatever you need in there. Really good resources. The March Wellness Transformation Studio, that is our boot camp. So that is just for our clients. And then our coaches are in there just engaging as coaches. We don't post any coaching work in there. We don't talk about price. We don't talk about sales questions, nothing like that, because that is our safe space for our clients. I personally open up a new challenge group every single month. There are coaches that don't. Again, this is your business. You can make it what you want when you're off and running your own. I believe that Brittany and I are going to be making the switch from Facebook to the Challenge Tracker app. So that is, again, something through Beachbody where you can run these boot camps through an app and people can log their workouts and they can log their shakes. So that's going to be something different moving into April that you'll get to experience for that first month with me. And then once you get your first clients, you can decide, oh, I really liked Facebook better, or I really like this Challenge Tracker app. Again, totally up to you. And then the training that I added you into was the Run Wild Hustle and Shine Entrepreneur Academy. That is a mouthful to say, but that is the training that Mackenzie and Danielle put together. It's really good. Some of it is not per se my vibe and how I would teach. So again, just remember that this business is yours and it's what you make of it, but the information that's provided in there is very valuable regardless. Over my spring break, starting at the end of next week, I'm going to be making my new coach training. And I will want all my coaches just to go through it, because then when you get a coach, you will be able to plug them into my new coach training. So just kind of keeping that all in mind. Okay, now like the last little bit that I really want to touch on is inviting, because inviting is what pushes our business forward. This is the biggest income producing activity that we can actually do for our business. And I think that a lot of times the biggest misconception when new coaches come in is that they're going to be, posting, I'm a coach now, and posting their workouts, and they just kind of expect that people are going to flock to them. And it's a natural thing to think that you just put yourself out there and then people are going to be like, oh, well, I need this, so I'm going to contact her. But you guys, it's really scary to admit, and I think both of you on this call, I hopped on the phone with both of you before you even sign, that enrollment to sign up to be a client, because it's scary to admit that, you want to better yourself. It's scary to try something new. And so a lot of the times people aren't going to be like, yep, sign me up right away. So that's where this inviting and this building a relationship with your clients actually comes into play. And that's why I hop on the phone with people. I'm like, listen, I want to tell it to you from my heart. I want to tell it to you why I love this. And so don't be afraid to go outside the box and hop on a phone call with some people. So who should you invite? So first and foremost, you should be making your list of 50, and that's in the Run Wild Hustle and Shine Entrepreneur Academy. Make your list of 50. Make it completely mindless. Don't go into it with a preconceived notion, oh, well, I know she's going to say no, so I'm not going to put her on this. Just make your list of 50 and start inviting from there. Your friends, your family, your friends of friends. Invite anybody who's watching your story. Invite anybody who's following you. Invite anybody who's liking your posts. They all are engaging with you somehow. So we call that kind of like your lukewarm market. Your cold market would be somebody who you don't know, who's not following you, who you just grab off the street and say, hey, you want to join this? We don't do that. Lukewarm is anybody who's engaging with you on Instagram. They're choosing to follow you for a reason. Like, you didn't force their finger to hit follow. You didn't force their finger to hit like. You didn't force them to watch your story. So they can definitely get an invite from you. And then your warm market is your friends and your family, people who you know. So when you're inviting, what do you say? So you don't want to word vomit, first and foremost. You want to be invited. You want to invite how you would want to be invited. So if you would like more information presented up front, you'll invite that way. If you would like it just kind of short and sweet, invite that way. And I'm going to show you a couple examples. I keep everything in my Google Keep, and I'm going to show you what Google Keep looks like right away. So here's my Google Keep. So, and I posted some screenshots that I'll show you. So I have, it's like virtual sticky notes. So I have, how to overcome hesitations and objections. I have our Shakeology flavors right here, so I can quickly send that. I have a new follower message, so I can just come in here and copy and paste. Here's how I talk about price. Here's how I respond to someone if they vote on my poll. Here's exactly my process for when I sign somebody up. So my Google Keep is gold. I always keep it up on my computer when I'm working or on my phone. And this is where you can keep like a whole slew of invites, and it's just really, really easy to use. Okay, so here I posted a couple from my Google Keep, what you could say if somebody responds to your poll. And these are kind of more short and sweet, and I just leave it very open-ended. Some of them I'll say, I just opened up my February virtual gym. Again, whatever you want to call it, this is yours. You want to make the wording sound like it should for you. If I don't know their name, I say, hey, lady. I'm not a big fan of the hey girl. I don't know. That's just me personally. But if I can use their name, I'll say like, hey, Bonnie. I'll say, hey, Taylor. Whenever I can use their name, that's when I try to. And also never underestimate the power of voice message. A lot of the times I do voice messages back if somebody responds to my poll, and I'll pretty much just say this like, hey, happy Sunday, just hanging out and going through my Instagram stories. I saw that you voted on my poll about my new nutrition group. Was wondering if you wanted to chat more details. Leave it just like that. Super short and simple. These are a little bit longer. This is where I kind of explain it a little bit more. And then you can kind of see what I might say back. So if somebody says, yeah, I'm interested, or maybe, don't word vomit and start spewing out, oh, well, there are these workouts and these nutrition guides and these are the groups and blah, blah, blah. You're going to scare them away right away. But like, we all word vomit in the beginning, so it's totally normal. But here's the thing, like I know Noelle, she's been sending these screenshots of all of her conversations. Like, I'm here to walk you through your first conversation so that you feel successful, so that you can get in the flow. So send me these screenshots. Send me, hey, I'm sending this invite. Does this sound okay? How's this wording? Like, that's why I'm your coach. Like, I'm here to help you with this. And then once they say yes, I take them through this 3-step process. So if they say, yeah, sure, I'd love to hear more, I will ask them first, and I didn't put this in here, I will always ask them first, oh, great, I would love to break it down in about 3 parts for you. But first, tell me, do you have a gym membership right now? Do you have any goals that you're working on? I always ask them a question first to get them talking about them. And then I always like for that like little approval question of saying, are you okay if I break it down into 3 parts now? And then they'll say, oh my God, yeah, totally. So then the first part that I always break it down into after asking them about their goals is fitness. Again, I keep it short and sweet. And then after I send that, I end it with a question. And my question is, have you ever tried a video-based workout? If they haven't told me that already. If they have told me that already, sometimes I'll ask them, what kind of style of workout do you typically like? Do you like HIIT? Do you like weight training? Whatever kind of fitness-based question you can ask, again, to get them talking about them. You want to be interested in them, not getting them interested in you. Like, if that makes sense. You want to be interested, not interesting. Sorry, that's how I wanted to say that. So then you ask them that question. Then the next part is nutrition. So then I break down the nutrition, and I also just added this recently. There was also a brand new nutrition program because I really want to start utilizing the Ultimate Portion Fix. And then my question for that is usually, how's your nutrition overall? Or what do you feel your biggest struggle is when it comes to nutrition? And then after they answer that and we engage back and forth, again, this is like the gold part where you're building that relationship, you're building that trust. So yes, these are copy and pasted, but when you're asking that question and they're responding back, that's when you then are interacting like not copy and pasted, like a normal human being and sharing from your heart. And then the last part that I talk about is the boot camps. And then from there, they might respond back, or you might say, how does all that sound? Do you have any questions for me before I start talking the enrollment process? Because then people will kind of say, oh, okay, now we're going to talk about price. So that's my 3-step process that I found that really, really works well. In our team page in the file section, you will see screenshots of conversations that I've had from start to finish. Taylor, you might even be in there. I may have taken screenshots of you in our conversation, so you might even be in there. There's also in the file section a document where I posted this whole thing from invite to like signing somebody out. Like, I have that whole thing written out for you guys. And so then the last thing that I want to leave you guys on before any questions is your mindset. And I already talked about this because you're a business owner and there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. And when I went into this, I said to myself that I'm going to give myself a year and really see what I can learn and really see, what I can gain from this. And here I am over 2 years later, and I'm still absolutely loving this. And you guys, anything is possible. You're going to see so many Beachbody coaches right now on a trip that they have earned for helping people. Next year, John and I get to go to the Dominican Republic because I earned this free trip through Beachbody, and like, you guys can too. Like, the sky is the limit. Like, it's insane what you can do when you actually put in the work, and the work isn't hard. It's all laid out for you on that business activity tracker. So be coachable, absorb this information, try it out. don't be scared. Just dive right in. I know it's uncomfortable, but that's where you're going to grow, when you're uncomfortable. And I know Taylor and I have been talking about that a lot. And also be resourceful. Try to find the answer first. If you're stuck, if you're confused, if you're like, oh, I wonder what to do here, look around for it and then ask. Okay, those make the best coaches for people who are resourceful first and then ask last. But just know I'm always, always here for you guys. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I can unmute you guys. Do you guys have any questions? I know that was kind of fast and furious.
No, I don't think so. I'm just excited to dive into it and get started.
Was that helpful? That kind of big, broad overview? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You touched on a lot that, because I did a couple of the Academy videos today, a couple more today, and you kind of emphasized some more of that stuff that Danielle and Mackenzie were talking about. So I just need to get my, all this stuff organized, my thoughts organized. So
yeah, absolutely.
I know my big thing is the Instagram. I have to get my Instagram up and running and get that all figured out.
Do that tonight. I would try to do that tonight if you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And if you, again, I know Bonnie, she kept her original Instagram too, so that's always an option. But I started mine from scratch, so it's definitely possible. A lot of us do that.
And I think I'm really bad with Instagram, so I have to figure out how to do all the different things on there, like the videos and all that.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just diving in and trying it. Just dive right in and try different things on there. And you'll get the hang of it, I'm sure, faster than you think. And I think the biggest thing that I struggled with too was actually setting, intentional business time. In the morning, that's when I dedicate, myself to my workouts. And then throughout the school day, I'm teaching. But then when I'm home, from the 6 to 8 o'clock hour, that's when I'm doing my coaching stuff. And that's just my personal schedule, and yours might look very different. But it's actually thinking okay, well, when do I have pockets of time to fit in things? Do I actually have an hour to sit down? Is it 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there? And being intentional and purposeful with your time, because I know lately I've been very caught in the scrolling game and very caught in the, oh, well, I'm just going to respond to a couple here and not okay, I'm going to sit down and set my timer and I'm going to invite for 20 minutes. I'm going to set my timer and I'm going to add people for 10 minutes or, whatever it may be. So it's being very intentional and disciplined, because it is a business. You've got to kind of think about it as you're putting your business hat on.
I loved that timer thing that we did. Was it this last week in that team call on Tuesday where you guys just set the timer? I was like, oh my God, that makes so much more sense than trying to I don't know why, but that to me was I can set a timer and say, okay, you have 15 minutes, accomplish this task, and then you're done.
Yeah, it's beating the clock.
It seems more time manageable, because being a teacher, our time there's not a lot of it at the end of the day. So that was my biggest thing, was trying to figure out how do I fit in all of this stuff on top of teaching, because I don't want to take away from teaching. But just going home and sitting in front of my computer, setting a timer, and I think that will. I'm an organized person, and that to me is duh.
Yes, yeah, and you will probably. And actually, I'm going to share my screen again because I just want to show you guys what my streak looks like. So streak is how I organize my tracking, not who I follow, but hang on, you'll see in a second. So it's attached to your Gmail, and sorry, moving very slow. So you can basically set up different columns. Let's see if this will work. For what phase you're talking to people in. Come on. And this is being fun. Sorry, guys. There's a bunch of trainings on, there we go. There's a bunch of trainings on YouTube that show you how to use Streak for Beachbody. So I do chit chatting. So anybody who I'm just kind of talking with, building a relationship with, I have not invited them yet, goes there. And then invite to boot camps, coach prospects. I sent the link to enroll. People who I need to follow up with, my clients, and then not right now. And then I have my email list. And then back when I was doing Transform 20, these are like people who responded to my poll for Transform 20. So you can set up your streak in a lot of different ways. And then my FU1, FU2, FU3, these are my follow-ups. So if you come down to like my follow-up stage, you can kind of see when I followed up. I will usually put a date or an X when I follow up with people. So like I haven't followed up with her since January. So she would get, another follow-up. So this is kind of what Streak looks like. And what I do is I do not write down everybody who I invite. What I do is when I come home and I sit down, I clean out my inbox, and that's when I transfer everybody into my streak. So whoever I'm talking to, who's ever responded back to me, they get put into my streak. And then when I invite, I just invite like crazy, and I'll keep like a little tally system of who I invite, or like a little X on my computer of who I invite. And then the next day, that's when I go through and I will put them into my streak, if that makes sense. Because if I'm going to invite somebody and they're not going to respond, I'm not going to waste my time writing down their name. Right. There's also the notebook method. That's in the Beachbody Champions page. That's a really good one to get, mass amount of invites done per day. That works really well. And that's like a pen and paper type thing. If you guys, I can tag you guys in that video too. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Do you guys have any other questions for me?
I don't think so. I'm going to get going on my Instagram.
Yay. All right. Well, before we hang up, I'm going to stop recording.